Hello to everybody watching on YouTube and welcome to Learn Guitar with Surjo. My name is Surjo and we'll be continuing along with the basics of guitar. And in this particular video, we'll be dealing with some of the very basics of what you're supposed to do with a guitar in the first place, how you're supposed to hold a guitar, so on and so forth, how to hold a pick, so on and so forth, and maybe get into some beginner's theory. So we'll just get started. First things first, as you can see, I've been playing guitar for a really long time and I am self-taught, which means that I started out with a lot of the bad habits. Now, I tend to switch between the correct and the incorrect because I've played the incorrect for so long that I've sort of gotten used to it. But it's my job here to tell you what the correct way of practicing is, and then it's up to you to find out your comfort zone. So the first thing that I would like to say is talk about how to exactly hold a guitar in the first place. Right now you can see that the waist of the guitar is on my right leg, right, on my right thigh rather, and that is where I keep it a lot of the times. But the classical guitar method has the guitar on the left, and as you can see immediately, if you could notice this, when I had the guitar on my right thigh, the neck was flat, sort of parallel to the ground or somewhat. But the moment I put the guitar here on my left thigh, the neck has become at a vastly acute angle to me. And that's one of the reasons why. And mostly people like having some sort of small raised platform under their left foot so that they can place their foot on it. So now, immediately you can see the difference. The difference is that, say for instance, I keep the guitar on my right thigh here. You can see my elbow straight. And on keeping it straight, my finger is somewhere here between the 5th to the 7th fret. This is where my fingers are. So I can go here, no problem. But when I come out here, you can see that my arm is stuck all the way to my body. And you can also see that while my torso is pointed this direction, the guitar is gradually getting pointed that direction, which is not a good look when you stand up and play. If you were to stand up and say, for example, if you're performing on a stage and the audience is here and the guitar is pointing that way, it's just not a good look. And you can see that there are some reach issues here. On the other hand, if I were to do this, you can see my elbow is straight again, and just naturally, I'm already on the 12th fret. Right? Now I can move back and I can move forward too. And if the neck is closer to you, remember this is called the neck. So if the neck is closer to you, it helps you play difficult passages that much easier. So that's what I would suggest to you. Is try when you begin your practice, you're beginning your learning, try and keep the guitar on your left thigh. Try and have some sort of separation where the left is higher, or you can make the right lower by pulling your right leg back so that you get this sort of acute angle with the guitar, because that's the point of it. That's the entire point of it. So this is how you're supposed to place your guitar. Try not to do any of this business. You don't need to. Straight down. This is where it's supposed to be. Okay? Now the next thing is how you hold a pick. This is a pick or a plectrum, Plectrum, or pick, Pick. Take your pick, which is a good play on words, which I've always enjoyed being a guitar player. Now, while I will not tell you that there's just one way of holding a pick, I will tell you that there could be something called as a golden rule, which is the pick should not fall out of your hand. If something would be a golden rule for picking, it would be let the pick not fall out of your hand. Okay? And I've seen various guitar players with different sorts of pick techniques, and I've also seen pick fall out of hands from quite a few established players. It used to happen to me when I didn't know what I was doing. So I've come up with something which I think will be able to stabilize the pick in your hand for the most part. So what I'm talking about is a little bit of physics, which is pressure equals force by area. So for the same amount of force which I'll exert with my right hand, I'm supposed to get maybe a little bit more pressure or more pressure on the strings for the same value of force, which means that I need to have a lesser area of the pick exposed to the strings. So what I'm trying to say is, if you hold the pick out like this, where a majority of the pick is exposed, I can just pull it out and it'll not be an issue. And the same thing will happen here. You try to play something fast and the pick might fall out of your hand. So get more of the pick inside your hand. And then pulling it out is that much harder. Now the way I see it, I see 1/3 of the pick being exposed to the string, 1/3 of the pick being exposed to the string, and nearly 2/3. That's the way I see it. You might probably be seeing a little bit more because the thumb is here. But you see the way the thumb is. So what I do is I'll hold my hand out like so, close it in like so, and put the thing in, put the pick in, right? Then you can keep your fist closed, fist open. I tend to have both because different purposes they serve. But as of right now, you just need to have this, a nice grip. You don't have to grip the pick too hard or something. The whole point, you're not supposed to have any muscles tightened. Nothing is supposed to be tight. It's all supposed to be nice and relaxed, but effective. So that's when you need to have a good bit of the pick inside your fingers. I often, sometimes say that, in Hindu mythology, the gods all often tend to give their blessing in such a manner. So if you know what that is, it goes something like this. Just put the pick in. All the gods were guitar players. So something like that. All right. Now moving on to the next thing, which is, how would you play with your left hand? Now, when you are playing an acoustic guitar, this is an acoustic guitar. When you're playing an acoustic guitar and when you're playing with a pick, then a lot more importance is given to the left hand. When you're playing classical guitar or playing with your fingers, a lot of importance is given to the right hand because the volume is being generated by the right hand. But when you're playing with a pick, this is a piece of plastic, you can just bang, and get more volume out of it. So then the left hand becomes very, very important. So there's a basic fingering numbering pattern which is at work here, which is like the thumb will be denoted as T, the index finger will be 1, the middle finger will be 2, the ring finger will be 3, and the little finger or the pinky will be 4. So T, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That will be the numbering that we will follow for the rest of the lessons. All right. So the thumb or T being used is sort of rare, and I will teach you when the time comes to use those as well. But as of right now, the most common thing that happens is that the thumb pops out from behind the neck when you decide to play something. You play like a chord or something, or you're playing a note and the thumb is popping out from behind the neck. Understandable. I got you. But again, my job is to teach you the technically correct way, and then it is your job to forget that. No, it's your job to implement it maybe, or find what works for you. That's what your job is. So I would tell you that the way to keep your the thumb would be halfway across the neck. Halfway across the neck, and to bring your wrist out from underneath. That gives way more space to play. If you are trying to play long stretches and so on and so forth, then that is the technique that you will need anyway. So it is maybe some element of common sense to try and develop the technique while you start itself. So you can have that, as opposed to where the thumb is poking out from the top. Again, you have to find your own comfort zone, but this is the technically correct way. So I'll just recap the three things. First is, try and keep the guitar on your left thigh. Try and keep the guitar neck at an angle so that it is close to you. Second thing, the pick. It should not fall out of your hands. So pressure equals force by area. Try and keep 1/3 of the pick inside, 2/3 of the pick inside your grip, and maybe 1/3 showing to the strings. And finally, try and keep your thumb halfway down the neck, so that you can have more space to work your fingers. All right. So that's the basic of how to hold a guitar and so on and so forth. You should just take this and try and see before I get on to the next lesson. Try and play something, anything on one string, anything. Try and pick out a melody, anything. Happy birthday to you, anything. Just try and pick it out. Just test yourself a little bit before you come in for the next lesson. All right. Now, I hope this lesson was helpful to you. Please share it with all your friends and families and uncles and aunties. Subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can stay updated with all my videos. There's going to be a lot more coming real soon. And till next time, take care. And of course, remember, perfect practice makes perfect.